that type of story, because that's the type of story that's going to enable us to do more work.
Keith?
Yeah, I think we hit on it. We all know this. We are the storytelling ape. That's what sets us apart. That's how our brains are programmed, and we communicate in stories. We do. And so every time we try to function, most of us, I really think very much at a species level. But that doesn't work. That's not how our brains have evolved. We've got to look at the individual level, and the stories you guys bring us from the field are critical. I'd also point out the stories that happen in our institutions are critical. So many conservationists started at zoos and aquarium, and they had that moment, that magic moment that happens. Disney calls it the magic moment. At our zoo, when I used to work for Tony years ago, we had a wonderful underwater sea lion viewing window, and we had a bunch of teens that were coming in. These were at-risk teens. We were trying to engage them, and one kid, we could not engage him at all until he was standing with his back to this thing, and he turned around, and he saw a 600-pound California sea lion come by, and he just said, "Holy shit." And so I like to call them the holy shit experiences. I think that captures it. But I'll point out that is the moment. It's the story you told earlier, Ian, about that one female matriarchal elephant. That's what touches us. It's the story of this kid who suddenly got interested in sea lions. And so there's this connection. We need the stories from the wild, but I also think there's this critical role zoos play, besides the community one, that we really do connect folks in a way you can't experience it otherwise. I don't have elephants at my zoo. First time my daughter, who's now 8, saw elephants were at Tony Zoo in Jacksonville, and it was unbelievable. She'd been around animals her whole life. She'd been around giraffes, but seeing an elephant for the first time, the scale, the smell, the bulk changes people. So I have to think the stories are both ways. We have the stories from the wild, and we have the stories that personally touch kids' lives and adult lives here, and that's where we can hopefully connect those two stories. Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm just going to ask one more question before we open it up to the floor. What can people here do to support your efforts in terms of the big picture of increasing zoos' contribution to the field, to field conservation? I'd like to ask that of Ian and also somebody else in the panel. What can the audience, people here in the audience, for example, do to help in this?
I think it's back to this question of information, of getting connected with the community and letting them know what the issues are at the first instance. You know your communities, and you have an ability to reach them with wider, broader issues and touch them with the plight of the Saola or the polar bear. So I think it's principally